And it comes down to that inner core of, I'm not going to back down.
Fire in your belly.
That's right. That's
Don't you
right.
think?
Absolutely.
Yeah, it's got to have like that will of, I'm stopping at nothing.
Yes.
And going for it.
Whatever it takes.
Whatever it takes. Well, welcome to Success Studio. I'm Sheryl Mathis, and today we're taking an inside look at a winning mindset. And we're at the gorgeous Loyola Marymount University with head basketball coach for the women, Sheryl Elliott. Welcome.
Thank you. I'm excited, honored to be here.
I am too, and it's beautiful. Los Angeles, your campus.
We really have the most beautiful campus in America, in my opinion. We're 5 minutes from the beach. We're 5 minutes from LAX. We got the palm trees, and it's a beautiful place.
What more could you ask for?
Right.
So we're talking all about how to have a winning mindset today. Right. And you come off of more than 275 wins to your record and growing daily.
We hope so. Yes, we hope so.
What is your first inclination in terms of what do you think it takes to have a winning mindset, not only for athletes, but for women in business?
Yeah, that's a great question. I really think it comes down to a mindset. It comes down to an attitude of I can and I will, a belief in my own abilities, your own abilities to do something that really other people might even think is impossible. It comes down to, are you willing to work hard enough to get it done, and do you have the right positive mindset? Because adversity is going to come. And that's what we talk about with our players all the time. Adversity is going to happen. Teams are going to go on runs. Momentum is going to change. How do you handle adversity and still bounce back and find a way to be successful? And it comes down to that inner core of, I'm not going to back down.
Fire in your belly.
That's right. That's
Don't
right.
you think?
Absolutely.
Yeah, it's got to have like that will of, I'm stopping at nothing.
Yes.
And going for it.
Whatever it takes.
Whatever it takes. And especially in a game, it can happen moment to moment, right? Like you can be feeling up, and then in 2 seconds later, you're down.
Yes.
So how do you speak to that adversity, like you said, not only from day to day, but moment to moment?
Well, we talk about it every timeout opportunity. We talk about momentum. We talk about energy. We talk about, okay, if they have the momentum, how do we get it back? We have to stop their momentum, and what can we do to get it back? And that's one possession at a time, one play at a time, getting a deflection, knocking down a big shot. We've got a really young team this year, so we're having to talk a lot about adversity and runs and momentum. And hey, even if you're down, it's not about losing per se. It's how do you fight? Is it fight, flight, or freeze? Are you going to fight regardless of the scoreboard? Regardless of your situation in your job, are you going to fight, or are you going to
put your head in the sand?
Right,
and
exactly.
freeze and not take action?
Exactly. Yeah.
What do you think are the winning qualities to pursue and keep going? The characteristics it may take for that. Is it simply courage? Is it loyalty?
Yeah.
What are some things maybe you talk about with your team players?
We talk a lot about courage. We talk about heart. We talk about resiliency. We talk about fight. We talk about family together, having a bigger purpose than I'm not doing this just for me. This is for us.
And for the team.
And for the team. So I am going to do my job. I'm going to be weak side. I'm going to rotate when it's my job to rotate because they're depending on me to do that. So trying to find a higher purpose and that's building that chemistry. And certainly that's kind of where we are right in the middle of in our season right now.
So you have a really young team you mentioned this year. I think a lot of women entrepreneurs can relate to that too, that they're coming off of corporate jobs they've had for 20 years.
That's right.
And stepping into something very new for them.
Right.
What are some things you could share with them that you foresee, as far as struggles they may have? I always say a lot of times, like, you don't know what you don't know.
Well, trial and error. I mean, I could go back when my first 2 or 3, 4, 5 years as a head coach, the mistakes that I made. And you have to, when you risk, high reward, right? When you take a step and you step out there and you try something, most people don't even have the courage to try. So first of all, kudos to you for stepping out and trying to live your dream and to do something, having that courage. Understand, it's, you know, again, the path to success looks like this: plateau, little bit, plateau, little bit, plateau. Like, there's going to be some ups and downs, and it's how you handle those times when things aren't going quite so good. You know, the years when maybe you're having to live in your shop because you can't make ends meet. All of those things, like, how much is it worth it to you? And at some point, there may come a time where it's like, you know what? I've got to try a different adventure, right? That's okay. Like, failure is going to happen. Again, I could go back and tell you all the times that I wish I'd handled this different. I wish I had done this different, but you know, we don't get those. We just have to keep moving on, and we have to keep our mind in the right place. I mean, for me, my faith is everything to me. And so my higher purpose is, you know, how am I trying to impact lives? And I choose to do it through coaching. You could choose to do it in a business adventure with, you know, hiring young people who maybe have never had a job before. So you're trying to educate them, teach them, mentor them.
How important do you think it is to have vision?
Well, without vision, the people will perish, right? You have to have an idea of where you want to be. Now, I think sometimes, in my mind, sometimes things are very clear, and sometimes I only know that tomorrow I've got to get up and I got to get ready for practice, and we got to come out and I got to put the best practice plan together, because my vision for today is, how does our team best need to be prepared and to grow? So my vision can sometimes be day to day. And then, of course, I think for me, I have to know the kind of culture program that I'm trying to build. So, you know, that means sometimes letting go of players that maybe aren't fitting what we're trying to do, or, you know, kind of cross culture with what we're trying to do. Hard decisions. Anytime you're going to be a manager, you're going to be a leader, you're going to have to make some very tough decisions, and nobody is going to like them. And my husband tells me all the time, because I'm the head coach and he's my assistant.
Oh, really?
Heavy is the head that wears the crown.
Yes.
When you are the one that has to make those really hard decisions of letting someone go, or who you're bringing into your company or your program, those are really hard decisions. And you have to be willing to make hard decisions, to say hard things, and to take the brunt of negativity or whatever else might come at you. And
I think it's so great that you're bringing this up, because I know when I started my business, I thought I would just wear all the hats. And eventually, what's been nice about that is I am hiring now more for a lot of the jobs that I shouldn't be doing.
Right.
And some have worked out great and some have not. And I think it is a real important role to know that it's okay to at times say, this has been great.
Yes.
Thank you very much.
Yes.
Next.
It's the hardest 20 seconds of your life. And there was a movie, I think it was the zoo movie? We bought a zoo with Matt Damon.
Yes.
He said 20 seconds of courage is all you need. And sometimes I'll walk into those really challenging meetings and I'll remind myself that this is my job, this is what I have to do, this is my role, and I need 20 seconds of courage to do it, because I don't want to deal with this for another year, right? I've got to make, and heavy is the head. You've got to be able to handle it when you're in those positions.
And that's a great way to look at it. It's only 20 seconds.
Right.
To say no, next,
right.
on. So let's talk about Title IX.
Yeah.
While it's been really exciting for women, because since it started in 1972, I saw that 1 in 27 players then were female. Now it's 2 in 5.
That's awesome.
So wow,
Yeah,
made a lot
awesome.
of improvement.
Yes.
But share with us, as a head coach in women's sports, are you happy with the improvement, or are you still a bit frustrated?
Well, I'm very happy. Like, those numbers are dramatic, and it shows how far we've come, for sure. 100% believe we have a long way to go still.
Yeah.
Just in, recognition for the work that the women are doing. There's always a fight and a battle of, I don't mean a fight, but, making sure that things are equitable and that the women's teams are getting as they should, resource-wise. But I tell you, I think we've come such a long way that you want to keep fighting, but it was the women, 20 years ago, my coaches were the ones that really had to do the fighting.
Yeah.
Now I just kind of have to do, maybe a little tweak, a little reminder of, hey, let's make sure that if the guys are doing this, that we also might have the opportunity to do that. And today, I mean, I'm very blessed. I've got an athletic director, Craig Pentons, and our deputy AD, Ashley, Armstrong, that are so committed to that I don't have to worry about even bringing anything up.
Yeah.
But when you look at the difference between 1 in 27 and 2 out of 5 now are women, this is what is going to empower, in my mind, the next generation of business owners and entrepreneurs, because sports teaches you so many things that as a business leader, you need to know and experience: adversity, failure, teamwork, courage, strength, all of those things that sports just has a way of creating opportunities for growth in those areas.
Yes.
And I mean, I know for a fact that business after business comes to us and comes to our athletic department saying we want to hire athletes because of the things that they've learned. So
and they know that they're so dedicated. I mean, who gets up a lot of times at 5 a.m. every day? Who works out when they don't feel like working out?
That's exactly right.
Yeah, I think you have to be so tough to play sports.
It's resilient.
Yes.
Not going to just back down, and we're going to fight. Generally, those are the things that are created out of an athletic experience, whatever the sport may be.
Yeah.
Discipline, teamwork, coachability, right? Leadership, all of those things that if you're going to be a business person, if you're going to be a coach, if you're going to be a mom,
right,
you've got to you want to instill these qualities in your kids. And
what do you think it's going to take? Here at this, you even coach basketball, so which is a much more popular sport than many other sports. Sure. Yet, what do you think it's still going to take, though, to get the fans to still completely back women's sports as much as we do male sports?
Yeah, I think the first thing is recognizing that men's basketball and women's basketball are very different games. The women's game is below the rim, right? We don't have the athleticism. We don't have the dunking. It's a different game. Strategy is different. I think in women's basketball, I was fortunate. I played at Missouri State, where we went to a Final Four my senior year. We averaged 8,000 fans a game. And the reason people came to watch us play is because they felt like they got to know us. They loved the way that we played. They saw the heart. They saw the work ethic. And we were very accessible to our fans in the community. So people will come watch people that they know and people that they like. So our job is to get our players out in the community as much as possible. We had several ball girls here with us. Their parents come. Next Wednesday, we have an education day where we're busing in, bringing in all these kids.
Great, to expose them to women playing sports.
Yes.
I think that is a big factor, that once boys and girls from when they're young see that girls can play just as hard. That's fabulous.
Yes.
What do you look for in players that you think may have a similarity to looking for what it takes a woman in business? So what are some aspects too that you look for in a raw talent, like when you're recruiting?
Yeah, I mean, toughness. I watch their body language very closely. How do they interact with their coaches, with their teammates? Obviously there has to be talent.
Yeah.
There has to be a basketball IQ. So if I'm running a business, I've got to find someone who can do the job, right? But I also want to find the intangibles of how tough are they? Are they willing to risk? Are they, do they want to be the one taking the last shot? Or do they, kind of shrink away from that? Those are the gamers. Those are the ones that are just tough as nails and they're willing to miss the shot, but they're willing to take it.
And that ties in with what you said earlier, and I loved it when you said high risk brings high reward.
Right.
And it's scary to take that high risk, but we, especially in business, we have to be willing to step out there, even when maybe even our immediate family may not be the ones cheering us on.
That's right.
What do you think is your greatest challenge? Or what has been a great challenge for you?
You know, I deal with young women who are between 18 and 22 years old.
Yeah.
They're really trying to figure themselves out. They're trying to figure out life. They're trying to deal with school. They're dealing with family, relationships. The greatest challenge really that I have is trying to get them to set that aside when they step on the floor, put themselves second, put the team first. Those are, really challenging things to ask a 18, 19-year-old kid to do when they might have coaches, parents, friends, other people in the stands who might not be trying to get them to follow into what we're trying to do as a whole. So might have to see big picture. Finding the right people. It's all about recruiting. It's all about hiring, having a great staff.
Your support.
But keeping this group together and united and team first is probably the greatest challenge. And secondly, and I've seen this change over the years, is a resiliency. Is when you get down, are you going to fight, or are you going to say, you know what, I'm not starting on that team. I'm going to go to another team and start over. Mm-hmm. That's what, club basketball, AAU, if you're not happy, you're going to go find somewhere else to go. Teaching these kids to, sometimes you got to put your time in and you got to be patient and you got to wait for the rewards to come.
There aren't shortcuts.
There are no shortcuts to success.
So I just have a couple more questions for you. And one is, especially in talking about women empowerment, and I know you lit up when we talked about this briefly earlier, and you were talking about the players even and the mentors and what you have going on with them. But what would you like to share with women entrepreneurs about women empowerment?
Man, find somebody that you can pour into. I think it's so important to have mentors and then also to understand that you are a mentor to somebody else. So even if you're in the middle of your new job venture, you can still find somebody younger than you to bring along and show them, let them see the struggles, let them see how challenging it is to be the one making the decisions and being the one really risking. Yeah. But, bring them along, but also, man, never get too old or comfortable to think that you don't need somebody else above and ahead of you to call up and say, you got to help me here. I'm struggling with this. My old coach, I didn't say old, my former coach, Sheryl Burnett from Missouri State, I still talk to her frequently and just say, what am I missing? She watches a game. What am I not seeing? And that's me drawing from someone else who has more experience. And then everything that I'm trying to do is now empower our players and my staff to go on and become head coaches maybe for my staff, or to become doctors and lawyers and businesswomen and all of those things that they want to be. And so what we try to do, one thing that we really try to do is I don't want them only hearing from me. We bring in mentors for our team, other women from every possible field you could imagine.
That's fabulous.
We had a vet come talk to our team, this amazing woman who was on the USA ski team, across the downhill ski team. She's now a vet in Marina Del Rey. She came and spoke to our team. We've had the CEO of LAX come speak to our team. Putting, Carol Costello, who was former CNN news anchor, whose husband is the president of LMU. She comes and is involved with our team.
That's great, exposing them to all these professions they may not have thought about.
Teachers. We have a principal of an elementary school that has taken on one of our players who wants to get into education. It's taken a long time to find the women, but now they all are so bought into what we're trying to do as a program.
Yeah. That's fabulous, because you can't do what you can't see.
No.
So until they even know that could exist for them.
That's exactly
And I know
right.
I said two more questions, but actually I'm going to squeeze one more in between before I get to my very last. I was just curious. I was thinking as you were talking at halftime, I always love to know what coaches say at that halftime mark. Like, do you have a staple thing you say to them, or was it something different every game to just uplift people to like, okay, we can come back, we can do this?
We try to keep it pretty factual, to be honest.
Okay.
emotions are great for a little while, but they will wear out. So what we really try to do is focus on, hey, we need to correct this. Let's tweak this. Let's make a minor adjustment. But we do what we do. We know who we are, and we can do anything together. Like, but we've got to make these adjustments. Or sometimes we're not working hard enough. We're getting outworked right now, and that's unacceptable.
Yeah, tough love.
So it is, and sometimes it's harsh. A kind-hearted harshness sometimes is necessary. I talked to a player yesterday after a game, and I said, your body language is very poor. You need to understand how that affects everybody. I said that in front of everybody. She bounced back today. Her body language was awesome.
Yeah.
And that is me calling someone out in a respectful way, in a sincere way, but in a way to say, look, this is not acceptable. We're not going to be outworked.
Yeah.
We might get beat, but we're not going to be outworked.
Yeah. Holding people to be accountable and be leaders.
Yes.
Sounds great. Okay, so my last question then, as I pose to all those that I have here on Success Studio, what does success mean to you?
Success to me is seeing our kids graduate, walk across the stage and get their degree. Success to me is getting a text message 10 years down the road from a player that finally gets it and understands what you were doing when it didn't, at the time, they did not understand what I was doing. I got one of those 2 days ago, and literally tears just come to my eyes because they get it. Sometimes we're the first people as coaches or as bosses, perhaps mentors, we're the first one to really hold them accountable. And so sometimes it does seem harsh. It seems tough. It seems like you don't care. No, I care so much that I'm going to make you walk through this. And I'm going to be there to help you, but I'm not going to save you, and I'm not going to change your circumstances. You're going to change your circumstances. You want to play more? You're going to work harder. I'm not going to save you when you can do this yourself. That's, to me, the greatest success. Wins, and it's a lot more fun to win than lose, let me tell you that. But you can also learn a tremendous amount from failure and from losing and from really, sometimes, today we played a team that's better than us. But we fought and we competed, and it might have looked like a failure, but it wasn't, because we, as our program, took steps forward today. That was success. The scoreboard didn't say success, but I knew it was a success.
Yeah.
And so all of that combined is what I want to look back on and say, I made an impact. I encouraged young people, young women, to believe they could do something that they never thought they could, to work harder than they ever thought they could, to try, to risk, all of those things, and to be a great teammate. Sometimes you've got to change a little bit of ego, a little bit of pride. You got to learn to be a better teammate. That's going to help you in every relationship down the road.
Fabulous. Thank you so much. And one thing I loved, especially for women empowerment, that I heard you say just in that last answer was, no one's going to save you. You need to save yourself. And that you do have the power to do that.
You do.
That we really can save our circumstances. We can save ourselves. Thank you, Charity Elliott, for speaking with us today.
Thank you.
This was wonderful. And as I always leave with imparting words of, when you own your worth, you own your life. Thank you for being a part of Success Studio, and we'll catch you next time. I'm Sheryl Mathis.